Welcome into the NWGA football Week 9 Pickem show, joined by Benton and Brooks. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good.
Not too bad. Little sad that the regular season is dwindling down here.
Just a month left. Yeah, it's crazy. A couple of things before we get started. Want to say hope everybody in Florida stays safe. Hurricane coming on shore this evening. It seems like every week now we're talking about a hurricane. And secondly, there's a whole bunch of these games I would like to defer from picking this week, but Benton and them say I have to do it, so I got to pick a winner.
Oh boy,
it's gonna be there's a lot of good games on the slate this week. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, a smaller slate. I think some of the schools are still on fall break. I'm sure we'll get back to a full slate next week, but yeah, there's some really good games, especially in the smaller schools. But we'll start at the top. Chapel Hill at Carrollton. Carrollton is a 35-point favorite.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to be said here. Carrollton big.
Yeah. I think we're looking at what this is. It seems like Carrollton's had a 30-plus point spread for several consecutive weeks here, and for good reason. I think they continue to roll. I don't think they will be tested in any capacity until Douglas County in their regular season finale, and they still might not be tested in that game. So, Carrollton big.
I got to looking at the stats from last week. Carrollton was up 42-7, took Juju out. Westlake cut it to 42-27. They bring him back in fourth quarter. He throws 3 more touchdown passes. Kind of hard to stop Juju down there. Carrollton big. Paulding County favored this week by 18 over Osborne.
Yeah, as we go into the plethora of Paulding County schools, I will take Paulding County. And I think they probably win it by at least 2 touchdowns.
I'm a little torn on this one. I mean, both teams have the same record. Osborne's only lost by a point last week to Pebblebrook, won at South Cobb the week before. The last 2 weeks for Paulding County, the scores have been outrageous. I know they've played pretty solid football teams with Hillgrove and McEachern, so I'll take Paulding County, but I'll take them within the number. I think it'll be like a 1-score game.
Yeah, I'm going to take my guys, Mason Bryant and Ant Bell, down there at Paulding County. I like Paulding County to get the win at home. Alexander at East Paulding. East Paulding, 31-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Paulding bunch. I'm going to go East Paulding this time. I think they beat Alexander by maybe a little less than 31, maybe 3 to 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I like East Paulding in this one. I think they have I think it's going to come down to them and Villarica for second place in this region, and that'll be decided, I believe, in the regular season finale. And I like them to continue to roll. The only blemish on their record so far this whole season was to Rome, and they looked pretty good the last couple of weeks, coming off a big 59-14 win, still at home in this 3-game home span. I think they roll over Alexander.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with East Paulding also. Like you said, they look like they got back on track last weekend. I think they're back up to 100% healthy. Going with East. Lithia Springs at Rome. Rome is a 35-point favorite.
I think I've said this a few times already, but Rome's going to roll in this one. I don't think they have any much competition. Probably backups after halftime.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Benton. Running clock in the second half. Lithia Springs has played East Paulding and Villarica the last 2 weeks. Scores of 49-28 and 59-14. Rome has beaten both of those teams by 2 scores or more. Rome will be up massive at halftime. Won't even be a contest.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Rome. Wolves big. Barron Stadium on Friday night. South Paulding at Kennesaw Mountain. Kennesaw Mountain is a 9-point favorite.
I think this game could be a barn burner. I think this could be a fun one to watch here. At Kennesaw Mountain, they're a 9-point favorite, like you said. Uh, Kennesaw Mountain sitting there 2-4. South Paulding's only got one win this year. I think they keep it close, but I'll take Kennesaw Mountain by a touchdown.
Yeah. Just sitting here looking at the scores from kind of a common opponents that they've played. I would love to pick South Paulding in this spot, but I think Kennesaw Mountain wins this one at home. But I think it's going to be a very close ball game. But yeah, I'll take Kennesaw Mountain here.
Yeah, South Paulding was my upset pick of the week last week, and it's not going to be this week. Kennesaw Mountain, I think, wins at home. Cartersville, 32-point favorite at Altoona.
Another one of those where you don't have to say too much. I think even though it's on the road, Cartersville makes the short trip up or down the interstate. Anyway, Cartersville wins easy.
Yeah, Cartersville big in this one. Setting up. Well, we'll get to our next game first, but Cartersville big in this one, I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cartersville gets it done here on the road. Speaking of the next game, Cedartown at Dalton. Cedartown is a 35-point favorite.
Boy, you're teeing those 35s up today. Dalton obviously hadn't been the team that they were last year. Cedartown looks like they're back to their winning ways when they went to the Dome, or not really the Dome. Let's say the championship game, because I think it was at the Georgia State.
Yeah, the rainy Georgia State Stadium.
Yeah. Shame on you, Jesse. Anyway, Cedartown wins big.
Yeah, I like Cedartown in this one, and that sets up arguably the biggest game in our area next week, maybe the whole season, with Cedartown going. Are they on the road at Cartersville? Let me check real quick. No, they'll be at home. They'll be at home versus Cartersville next week.
Oh, they're home. Okay.
So I think that sets up probably the biggest game in our area the whole season next week, with 2 8-0 teams battling for the region title.
Yeah, I think Dalton has gotten better week to week, and Dalton's always a tough place to play. One of my favorite stadiums to visit to see a game, but I think Cedartown has too much. I think they cover easily. Hiram, 22-point favorite at Woodland.
Yeah, I think Woodland is not a terrible team. I think they've been improving, but I think Hiram is the ability for Hiram to score points. I think is what's going to win them the game. And I think probably around the 20-point mark. I'll take Hiram on the road at Woodland.
Yeah, I like Hiram in this one. I think they know what's in front of them the next couple of weeks. It's their chance to lock up and secure that 3 seed out of region 7-4A. They've got Woodland and Altoona the next 2 weeks, and I think that they know what they've got in front of them. They finished with Cartersville. They know how tall of a task that'll be. So I think they know they got to handle business the next 2 weeks to get themselves securely locked into that 3 seed for the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Hornets also there at Woodland. I think they cover the 22. Tough run game to stop. White County at Dawson County. White County, a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, man, I kind of want to do it, so I'm going to. I'm going to go with Dawson County. I like what Dawson's done the last couple of weeks. I know they lost to GAC, but it was in a close one, and obviously they put up bukus of points against a Down Johnson team. I think these teams are similar. I think the young from Dawson County is getting better and getting wiser, and I'm going to take Dawson County as my upset pick of the week.
Yeah, I think the last few weeks, White County has run into a couple of good football teams with Lumpkin County and a solid team in North Hall. Going on the road to Dawson, but that's not a far road trip. I still like. I know Dawson put up an astronomical number last week, but that's a pretty hapless Johnson team. I like White County to get it done on the road, but I do think it'll be a one-score game.
Yeah, I think Dawson County found something, man, with this kid, Gunnar Weaver. Made his first start against GAC 2 weeks ago. I mean, they battled them to 21-15. Put 71 points on Johnson last week, like you said. Like I said, I actually thought about this one too as my upset pick of the week, but Tripp Nix and those guys, White County, I think they're too much for Dawson. I like White. Lumpkin, 35-point favorites at Johnson.
Lumpkin by more than 35.
Yeah, same. Lumpkin wins and covers. Running clock again. Another running clock game.
I totally agree.
We talked about all the good games. We hadn't really got to them yet.
Yeah. Pickens at Chesadee. Even spread. Coin flip.
Now, if I had one, I'd probably flip it because I hadn't made my decision on this one. But I'm going to go with Chesadee. I like the home team. I'm going to go with the home team on that even game.
Pickens is a team that hasn't really gotten blown out all year in any game. They've been in most games, at least into the second half. They've even played well on the road at times. They've won a couple of road games. I'm going to go with a team in our coverage map. I'm going to take the Picking Dragons in this one.
Yeah, I like the improvement that Chesadee has shown this year. I think they were maybe a 1-9, 2-8 team last year. For them to be even spread against Pickens is a big improvement over the last couple of seasons. I like Pickens on the road, though. I'm going to go Pickens in a close one. Ridgeland at Adairsville. Adairsville is a 35-point favorite.
Yeah, I think Adairsville's the better team. 35 seems like a lot of points, but I think it'll be somewhere close to that. I'll take Adairsville by 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I like Adairsville in this one. They're at home. I think they know what's in front of them too. Coming up the next couple of weeks, they still have Northwest Whitfield left on their schedule, as well as Gilmer and Ringgold, Heritage out of Ringgold. That's a lot of potential playoff teams there that they're looking at after this game. They know they got to have this when they handle business by several scores.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking 35-7 at Adairsville. All right, guys, we're starting to get to our good games of the week here. Northwest Whitfield at Calhoun. Calhoun is a 20-point favorite.
Yeah, at Calhoun. I mean, I like Calhoun to win the game. I'm not going to shy away from that. I just think give me Calhoun in the 20. I think they might win by more than that.
First time these two teams have met in the regular season since 1985. How crazy is that? Considering how close in proximity they are. They're only about I don't know 20, 25 minutes apart. But I like Calhoun in this one, and I think it will be maybe around that number. Maybe like 17. I think Northwest keeps this game close into the second half. But I think Calhoun's very battle tested, especially with the non-region schedule that they played. And I think that will continue to pay dividends the further they get into their region schedule against some of these tougher opponents.
Yeah, I think Calhoun's been that sleeping giant early in the season. That 1-3 record to start kind of put everybody to sleep. But like our old friend Jake Keller said, poop through a goose. I like Calhoun here by 3 scores. Gilmer, 34-point favorite at Lafayette.
Yeah, Lafayette was kind of up and down earlier in the season. Played a close game at Gordon Lee versus Gordon Lee, and then just hadn't been able to put it together. I think Gilmer goes to Lafayette, gets a pretty easy win here.
Yeah, I like Gilmer in this one. Gilmer had a big win to get their first region win last week at home versus Heritage, and they're a team that's trying to get back to the playoffs again. You know, they made a second round playoff appearance last year, and that was a big step towards that potentially happening with a win over Heritage last week. And they've got Lafayette and Ridgeland, very winnable games left on their schedule, but sandwiched in between them is Calhoun and Adairsville. So I think a lot of these fringe playoff teams know that they've got to handle business in these type of games and can't have any slip ups. So I think they come out and play focused, and they handle business on the road up in Walker County.
Yeah, that's a long 2-lane bus ride from LJ to Lafayette. I think Gilmer covers, but I think Lafayette keeps it a little closer than 34. All right, guys, the money page here. Kahala Creek at Murray County. Kahala is a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, I think Kahala wins this game probably by 2 or 3 scores. I think get the offense going a little bit, and defense is going to stand up against Murray County. So I like Kahala to win this one.
Yeah, for Kahala Creek, it's definitely a big game. I would say for both teams. Both teams desperate for a win. Kahola's still searching for their first one on the season. Murray's only win came against Southeast Whitfield. They haven't won a game in region play either. Historically, this is a pretty even series. In fact, it's 6-6 all time. But Murray has not won since 2020 in this series. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. You talked, Lawrence, about how you like going to watch games at Dalton. Games over at Chatsworth at Murray County Stadium are really fun too. No track. It's another no track venue, where you're right on top of the action. So I think it'll be a fun game, and I'm excited to be there Friday night to check it out.
Yeah, I like the Creek in this one to win. I do think Murray County keeps it within the 7 for at least 3 quarters. I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out kind of game. You know, a tough place to play. Yeah, I'll go with the Creek. Sonoraville on the road at LFO. LFO, a 4-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat that for you. LFO, a 4-point favorite. I like it. I think LFO is one of the more improved teams around. I like what they got defensively, and they've been scoring some points offensively. That being said, I think the Phoenix, they got the Cruz kid at running back. Obviously Chaz Pate at quarterback. I think this could be a heck of a ball game. I think you could look up and see 34-31 or something like that. I almost want to take LFO, but I think I'm going to take Sonoraville in a close one right here.
Yeah, I actually think I'll take Sonoraville as well. I've seen both of these teams in person. I think one thing LFO did really well last week that kind of surprised me. They've been very pass heavy this year, and they were a lot more balanced last week, leaning on their running backs. So if they could continue that, I think they have an opportunity to win this game for sure. I think overall, Sonoraville has a few more pieces that can create those big plays. So I like Sonoraville, but I think it'll be a very, very close game.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked at the numbers, so I don't know for sure. But just off the top of my head, for some reason, I'm thinking LFO is a tough place for Sonoraville to play. It's kind of like that Heritage Northwest Whitfield deal you were talking about last week. I know it was one of our upsets of the year a few years back when LFO's only win of the season was a win to knock Sonoraville out of the playoffs. I like the Warriors here at home. I think the Warriors get it done in a close one. North Cobb Christian at Rockmart. Rockmart 9-point favorite.
Here's one of those games that we were talking about earlier. This is pretty much going to decide the leader of that region. North Cobb can throw it around. I think Rockmart has the talent in the secondary. They'll be able to match up with North Cobb's skill guys, and I'm going to take Rockmart by a couple touchdowns.
I like Rockmart in this one. I do think this one's going to the only time they played was 2 years ago in the second round of the playoffs, and Rockmart won 63-10. I think it's going to be a little closer than that this time. I do think that this. I don't think this is quite the same Rockmart team that we've seen the last 2 years, but they are good enough team to continue to keep this region championship streak alive that they've been on. I think it's 7 or 8 in a row that they've won. This is a really tall task for North Cobb Christian. This is going to be the best athletes they've seen all season. They've kind of been able to rely on their athletes to get into space, and that's caused a lot of other teams problems in the region so far this year. Well, they're going to get leveled up in this one because they're not going to be able to just out-athlete Rockmart because Rockmart's got just as good of Jimmys and Joes, if not better. So I think for Matt Jones and his squad, if they win this game, it's going to have to be some really good scheming and out-coaching Biff Parson. And I like Rockmart, so but I think it's going to be a really good football game.
Yeah, I know a lot of the talks about the quarterback play and the skill players for both teams. Both real talented in quarterback and skill positions. But I think this game is going to be won or lost in a line of scrimmage. Both teams are huge up front. I know North Cobb Christian's got probably one of the best defensive lines I've seen in person this year. Rockmart big on the offensive line. It's going to be a fun game to see in person, man, if you're down there in that Rockmart area Friday night. I like Rockmart. I think it's a close game to the end. I say Rockmart by 5. Ringgold at North Murray. Ringgold is a 9-point favorite.
Yeah, I think that 1 or 2 score game right here. I think Ringo's going to win it. I think too much frost and freeze in the end. Ringo's defense has been pretty good as well. I'll take Ringo in a close one.
Yeah, this is was a pretty good rivalry for several years. They didn't play the last 2 years with the way the regions lined up, but prior to that, they'd played every single year since 2012. 4-6 all time. North Murray is against Ringgold, but Ringgold's won 4 out of the last 5 games in this series. I think that continues. I think Ringgold matches up really well with North Murray. What North Murray does offensively this year, that kind of ground and pound physical running game. They don't throw the football that much, and I think Ringgold is going to be able to match that physicality, and I think it will play into the defensive scheme that they run well, and I think it'll cause some problems and have North Murray playing from behind, which I don't think they're built to do. So I like Ringgold in this one.
Yeah, I think in theory, this is a third place battle right here in the region. I know North Murray still has a chance to win the region title with Rockmart and North Cobb Christian in front of them. Leighton Myers, great game last Friday night for North Murray. I like Ringgold in this one, probably a little closer than the 9. The game for the 6A lead, Heard County at Darlington. Heard County is a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth on this one because Darlington, they've had a few comebacks and they've had some highlights and some lowlights this year at home against Herd. I think Herd's going to win the game. I think it's going to be a close game, and I'll take Herd in about a 1, maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8-point game, and the number I'm looking at is over under 5 train passings during the game.
I like Herd in this one too. I think I've been impressed with what Darlington has done this year in year 2 under Wayne Groves. They kind of had a step back after Tommy Atha retired last year in his first season, and I've been impressed with what he's been able to do so far coming back in his second year. But all that being said, I've been really impressed with what Heard County has done to this point in the season. I was really impressed with their victory last week against Temple, and I think they keep it rolling and take the lead here and roll on to an eventual region championship.
Yeah, this is kind of an obvious statement in any game, but I think for her to win, they have to limit the turnovers. I think if they turn over the ball a couple of times at Darlington, they could get beat. But I like the athleticism in her. The quarterback play has been outstanding the last few weeks. I like Hurd in this one by a couple of scores. Harrelson at Temple. Temple is a 19-point favorite.
Yeah, I like Temple's skill in this game. I think their ability to move the ball on offense, and then they've been playing some pretty good defense as well. Holding Bremen down a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna take Temple, and I think it's about right. Maybe the 17 to 21 point mark.
Yeah, I agree with Benton. I like Temple at home. I think get those athletes out on the perimeter. It'll cause some problems for Haralson County, and they just kind of keep doing what they've been doing for the majority of the season. And they should win this game handily.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very important game to see how Temple responds from last week. I know they were real disappointed after that loss last week at Hurd County. Yeah, I like Temple in this one. Pepperell at Model. Model a 10-point favorite.
You want to kick it off, Lawrence?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. Like I said, I've been picking these guys all year, man. They were 1 point behind Darlington, lost on the last play of the game, had a chance to score. I've been picking them several times. I feel like this is the week they could get it done. If I can find the button here. There we go. I like the Dragons on the road, man. Model has a great defense. It's going to be tough to score on them, but I think the Dragons have shown they can put some points on the board. I like Pepperell in a close one.
Yeah, I don't want to steal your thunder with the upset pick of the week because I already picked mine. But I'm jumping on board with you. I like the Dragons in this one. I think it's going to be a really good, really close game, battle, low scoring game. I'll take Pepperell in a close one.
Well, I guess we're going to see if we're all idiots here because I actually like Pepperell in this game too. I think they've been really close all year. I think they're super motivated to win a football game. You add in the inter-county rivalry aspects, and sometimes going on the road can actually make you play a little looser, especially with it not being a far bus ride either. So it's not like they're driving an hour away or anything. I think playing on the road can make you a little looser sometimes, and I like them in this game. I think they've been close all year. I think they finally break through. But, yeah, I guess we'll see. This is another one of those college game day things where they line them all up on the bottom where everyone's picked the same team. So I guess we'll have some people in Model chirping at us if we get this wrong.
Yeah, I was about to say I want to formally extend an invitation to Coach Honeycutt after the game to come on Friday night and just say I told you so and hang up. That's all we need. Christian Heritage at Chattooga. This is a game that myself and Benton will be at Friday night. Chattooga, a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, I also saw where I think Channel 3 out of Chattanooga, I believe, is doing having this as their game of the week. That'll be interesting to see that coverage. Two styles, contrasting styles here. Christian Heritage going to throw the ball around. Chattooga is not. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run it 40 times probably. I mean, however much it takes, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, Lawrence. I really don't. I'm interested to see what the secondary of Chattooga does because I don't think they've seen a team that's going to quote unquote air it out like Christian Heritage normally does. They're liable to show up and run the ball 30 times. You never know. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. I think whoever, obviously, turnovers could be big if there's interceptions or fumbles, or if one line of scrimmage gets an advantage. I'm gonna take the home team. I think Stugans lost 2 in a row. Kind of shocked a little bit by Gordon Lee, and then just unable to punch in the end zone about 6 times against Fannin last week. Moved the ball between the 20s pretty good. I think Chattooga's going to win it in a close one, and I think it could be a low scoring affair, believe it or not.
I actually like Chattooga as well in this one. I think it's a nice long road trip from Whitfield County up there. I've made that trip twice in the last 2 years. I think that's a really tough place to go play. Chattooga's 4-0 at home this year. They're coming off a 2-game road span here where they're going to be able to come back home in front of that home crowd. And I think matchup wise, I think some of the stuff that Chattooga does, if they can get back to that physical line play, get Zayden Cook going, I think that'll bode well for them in front of that home crowd and get them a big home win and put them right back in the conversation for potentially maybe a 2 seed, at least a 3 seed out of that region.
Yeah, I'm excited to see two of our Player of the Year candidates, Carter Triplett, quarterback at Christian Heritage, and Zayden Cook, the running back at Chattooga, in person Friday night. I think it's going to be a great game. I think the final score is going to be 45-42.
So you got track meet.
A track meet. I'm leaning Christian Heritage in this one. Gordon Central at Gordon Lee. Gordon Lee, 25-point favorite.
Yeah, it seems like Gordon Central is just, when they get to the game, they've just been surprising some folks. They played real close for quarter, a half, and then people make adjustments. I like what Gordon Lee's got going right now, though. I think Gordon Lee rides that momentum, and especially at home. And I think they cover the 25 against Gordon Central.
Yeah, Chickamauga is another one of those places up there in pretty remote northwest Georgia. That's a tough place to go play. And I was impressed with Gordon Central last week. They were trailing 20-6 at halftime to Christian Heritage. Came back and got that to within a 1-score game, 28-20 on at home. But going back on the road this week, I think Gordon Lee is peaking at the right time here in the last half of the season. The way their schedule lines up. I think they can win this week and next week against Coosa to set up what would potentially be or what would be at that point a region championship game against Fannin County on the road. So I think if they stay focused and can handle business at home the next 2 weeks, that's what they're looking at in front of them.
Yeah, I know we all were high on Gordon Lee in the preseason, and they had that start against Trine and that second game against Lafayette. We kind of took a step back, or at least I took a step back. But they've quietly turned into the team that we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, and they're on a roll right now. I like Gordon Lee at home. Bowden at Mount Zion. Bowden is a 35-point favorite.
Yeah, although there's not many teams in that region is pretty tough, and I think Mount Zion gets another taste this week, even though it's at home. I think Bowden comes in there and running clock in the second half.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of an unfortunate reality. Looking at the 3 games that Mount Zion finishes with are just brutal. Tryon, Bowden, and Manchester. That's just death row right there, right in front of you. And they actually had a pretty decent start to the season. They started 3-2, but yeah, I think Bowden handles business in this one. Big.
Yeah, I think teams that face Bowden the week after they lose don't fare very well. Coach Finley gets those guys fired up, and yeah, I think Bowden big. Villa Rica at New Manchester. New Manchester is a 2-point favorite.
Man, I've liked Villa Rica all year long. I've been picking, and I think this is going to be one of those games that's kind of 54-46, like almost 50-50 game. I know New Manchester's at home. I'm going to go with Villa Rica again. I'm going to take Villa Rica to win on the road at New Manchester.
I actually agree with Benton here. I like Villa Rica on the road. Villa Rica's 4-3 on the season, but they are. Let me total this up here. They're 3-0 on the road this year. So they're one of those teams that's actually played better. Some of that could have been the opponents they played, but they've played better at on the road than they have at home. When you play Central, Carroll, Rome, and Troup County at home, that didn't help things. I think their defense has played really well. I like how tight and contested they played Rome last week. That showed me something that proved to me that I think that was a really good barometer of where this team was. I think they're going to be motivated to keep this thing rolling. Like I said, I think second place in Region 5-5A is going to come down to Villarica or East Paulding. So I think Villarica wins this game.
Yeah, I think this is a big game for the Wildcats if they want to host a playoff game in the first round. They have to win this one to set that game up against East Paulding. If they lose here, odds are they're going to end up being the 4 seed out of that region with East Paulding and Manchester already playing. All right, fellas. Well, in that case, I'm going to go with the Wildcats if I didn't say that. All right, guys, that includes Week 9 Pickem Show, man. We'll be back on Friday night for the Al Smith Alpha Insurance high school football scoreboard. And you can look for us around on Friday nights, man. Brooks will be at Color Creek, and Ben and I will be up at Chattooga.